Hello and welcome to Bristol Sport TV from Ashton Gate's Sports Bar. In the next 10 minutes we'll bring you all that you need to know about this weekend's sporting action involving your favourite teams. Well, the World Cup might be all done and dusted and safely heading back to New Zealand, but we've got plenty of rugby to keep you entertained. I'm pleased to say I'm joined in the studio by Tom Varndell, former England winger and of course Bristol star player now. Tom, thanks very much for coming in to see us on our very first show where, well, it might be all done and dusted, but it was a fantastic tournament, wasn't it, despite England's early exit? Yeah,
it was brilliant. I mean, the RFU should take their hat off. It was a fantastically well-run tournament. Obviously, it's a shame that England didn't do any better than they did, but you got to look at the smaller nations as well and the way they did. The Japanese were fantastic, and it made a fantastic World Cup, and the final was brilliant as well. And of course, Bristol, quite a few players involved as well. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's great to have boys involved. Morgs, who was obviously with Wales, fantastic, and the Smyrne boys. They all did fantastic for the club, and it's great to have the club represented in the tournament. We'll hear plenty more from Tom in a moment as we preview their game against Doncaster on Friday. But first, City have had a busy week after that defeat against Fulham on Saturday. Much needed win against Wolves on Tuesday. Now they face the long journey north, as Adam Baker reports.
It's been a mixed week in terms of results for Bristol City. Fulham ran out 4-1 winners at Ashton Gate on Saturday, capitalising on a host of individual errors. But those were ironed out by the time Wolves visited BS3 in midweek. Jonathan Codger's header on the stroke of half-time was enough to secure all 3 points ahead of Saturday's trip to Bolton Wanderers, a team currently 1 place and 4 points behind City in the Sky Bet Championship table. Manager Steve Cotterill knows what to expect from the Macron Stadium hosts.
I think they'll probably play with a diamond. That's what they seem to have been doing of late. It just depends on what the fitness is of a few of their players. They've had a couple of injuries over the last week or so. Whether they're back fit, they could be difference makers for them.
The team travelled north to Greater Manchester on Thursday morning in readiness for the fixture against a team without a victory in 9 games. Cotterill, however, is sympathetic towards his opposite number, Neil Lennon.
I think Neil's done a very good job at a difficult time at the club, and I thought last year he pulled them away from safety, and I think it's been very tough for him this year. You haven't heard any complaining for him. He's just got on with the job, and I think he's done a brilliant job there. I really do.
Victory could move City 7 points clear of the relegation zone going into the international break. The match is pay on the day for travelling fans.
Well, City can look forward to the international break after this weekend. Their next home game here at Ashton Gate will be against high-flying Hull on Saturday, November the 21st. Well, talking of breaks, the Flyers have had a week off from the BBL, but they return to action this weekend with a double header. Saturday night they take on the Glasgow Rocks, followed by a trip up the M4 against the Surrey Scorchers. Joel Osborne caught up with Coach K.
We're heading towards the right direction as a team, and I think it was very important, obviously, not having games the last weekend. It was very important to keep that momentum going, and keep on getting better as a team on both ends of the court, defense and offense. So the last 2 weeks has been a lot about that. It has been about us making sure the chemistry keeps on getting better, and I think practice have been very competitive, and we're going to this weekend and we really look forward to the challenge. We have 2 very difficult games. Obviously we've got Glasgow at home, and then the following day we have away to Surrey. But I feel preparation the last 2 weeks, it has always been like a mini pre-season for us, these 2 weeks. And I think we've added a few things to our game, a few dimensions, and we really look forward to see how this applies in the games on Saturday.
Well, best of luck to the Flyers this weekend. Tom, I know quite a few of the rugby boys have been down to a few of the games. Have you managed to get down there yet?
I haven't managed to get down yet, but I know Jamal who goes down, and Ellis Gendge goes down quite a lot because of his cousin, obviously, is captain. But I'll definitely be going down this season. Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. It's great fun to go down there to SGS. Well, let's talk about rugby, because that's what we've brought you on the programme to talk about. So, World Cup, all done and dusted, over with. It was impressive, wasn't it, as we said, despite England's early exit. What was your favourite moment? I think Japanese, obviously beating South Africa was fantastic. Obviously nobody thought they would have a chance of winning that, and the way they played, such passion and hunger for the game, it was fantastic to see that the game's grown so much. Well, that's good to hear, and I know a fellow former England international joined the Bristol ranks earlier this week, of course fresh from coaching Japan. As you mentioned, such a fantastic tournament they've had. Steve Borthwick is who I'm talking about, if you hadn't realised already.
We caught up with him a little bit earlier as he gave his first press conference as Bristol Rugby's new forwards coach.
I think that it's a great mix. I think it's also fantastic to have a good crop of young Bristolian players that are coming through as well. So to see that blend come through into this team and to build a team that Bristol can be very, very proud of.
Yeah. Is it all about promotion? Is that the number one aim? Obviously, is to get back into the Premiership, isn't it?
Well, certainly, obviously, that's the goal. To get there, we need to make sure that each week we're improving and getting better and developing as a team, and that's so that when we get to the end of the season, when we get to the playoffs, that we're in the best position we possibly can be, and that's the responsibility I have as a coach.
Yeah, and is it nice to have your first game at Ashton Gate?
Yeah, so I was here for the opening day. The season, the game against Bedford, so I'm hoping for a better result than we got that day. But yeah, it's another sign when you walk in, you see the stadium. I know it's still part under construction there, but it's a tremendous stadium, and again, it just emphasises and shows the potential and the ambition of this club.
Well, Steve Borthwick there talking to a very packed Bristol press conference. Tom, you must have known him from playing against him in the Premiership. Tough question because I know you're a player and he's a coach, but what do you think he'll bring to the side?
You know, he's got a great rugby brain. He's a very intelligent player. Obviously, his game is his line-outs, and that's what he's going to bring to the forwards. You know, the line-out, the tactics and the line-out, the forward set piece basically. And you know, a fantastic leader. He was obviously at Saracens for many years, won a lot of trophies with Saracens, and just that experience he brings and that knowledge he can pass on to the younger boys in the team, especially the second rows. It's just going to be a great person to have around, a great role model for the guys, and hopefully get our forward pack, you know, the best in the league, and obviously push us into that Premiership.
Right, well, let's move on to actually your game and playing, and of course Friday night rugby returns against Doncaster Knights. They're a few points behind you, but they sit third in the table. Yeah. Thoughts going into the game?
It's a massive, you know, every single game we have now is huge. It's all about the stepping stones, obviously the playoffs, then going to the Premiership. So every game, especially at home, we've got to win. A fantastic stadium now. We want our fan base to keep building and obviously fill out Ashton Gate. So, you know, we want to put on a performance for the fans, for ourselves, and for the coaches, because this season so far we've been a bit up and down with our performances. I think we've started to build nicely now in the last couple of weeks, especially the win last week against Cornish Pirates. So this week is all about our performance and playing well as a team and getting that result. And obviously we want to be the best team in the league and everyone to fear us really, and that's what we've got. That's our job every single week we play in the league, to put on that complete performance and really build forward for them playoffs.
Well, I know your fantastic try-scoring performances in the Premiership. You had a great record there. We've continued that form here into Bristol with 4. But Ollie Robinson, what about him? Nominated for Championship Player of the Month just this week. He scored 10.
Yeah, but they've been pushovers from the forwards. All the forwards do all the work for it.
Do all the work. That's what I always want the forwards say.
Yeah. No, Ollie's fantastic, and he's captained the team for the last 2 games as well. So
probably just feels like 2 years.
Yeah, it does feel like 2, especially when he starts talking. Jesus. No, but he's a fantastic player. He's led from the front. He's been in the right position at the right time. He's run some great lines, and he's done some great work in the tight areas as well. So, you know, Ollie's a great player to have in the team, and you know, it's a privilege to play with him. Hopefully his try scoring slows down a little bit and I get some more ball, but no, he's doing really well. All
right, well, don't forget kick-off is at 7:45 on Friday evening. Perfect start to your weekend, really. Pop down here, have a nice few beers, then stroll on and watch some rugby. But Tom, thank you very much. Before you go, I must just make mention of Bristol Rugby ladies. They've suffered their 2nd successive defeat. This weekend they head over to Richmond to play with high hopes off the back of the selection of Amber Reid, Katie Mason, Izzy Noel-Smith, Sarah Hunter, and for Ireland, Claire Malloy, ahead of the autumn internationals. Congratulations to all of them on their international call-ups. International call-ups, remember that, Tom?
I actually got a phone call from Andy Robinson. I was in a hotel room.
Did you?
Yeah, I was with the England Sevens, and I actually thought it was a joke when I first got the call.
Who did you think was Andy Robinson?
I thought one of the boys were winding me up. So I was lying in my hotel room, got the phone call, I think it was quite late at night, saying you've got to come to England train the following day. I was over the moon about it, and yeah, it was brilliant. Great experience, and yeah, didn't get picked many more times after that, though, unfortunately.
You had an England call-up and you represented your country.
Yeah,
it's the
exactly.
pinnacle. It's all
Tick
you
that
need
box.
to know.
Job done.
Very much. Well, yeah, job done. Speaking of which, we are finished. You can have a drink, orange juice, of course.
Of course.
I hope you've enjoyed the first programme and look forward to a fantastic weekend of Bristol Sport.